Hi guys, it is Sunday, July 31st, 2022, and I'm here to do my July WIP update. July was a great month. Um, it wasn't my highest stitching month. Like I've had other months where I've done more stitches, but it was a good month. Um, I had a finish and I had a start, and I took a little trip, which we will talk about later, and it's been great. Um, I have some haul and I have some WIPs. And so we'll just jump in here. Um, First, I had a finish. And I posted this in several places. Um, so if you're on Facebook, you may have seen it. I'm pretty sure that I didn't post it on Instagram. I'm like the world's worst Instagrammer. But I finished A Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches. And this is on 28 count Verdigris Garrick by Fortnite Fabric. This was actually the first Fortnite fabric that I received when I joined the Fabric of the Month when they were doing the mushrooms, and this was the first one that I received. So there she is. I finished her on July 14th, and I kept some of my virtual stitcher friends up way past their bedtime waiting for me to finish it, and I appreciate y'all for staying up with me. But she's finished, and she's beautiful. I love her. She needs an iron, but she's amazing. So that was my sixth finish for the year, and if y'all are following along with me and or EJ at Sunshine Stitchers, you know that we made a deal that when we each had 6 finishes, we were going to start our shadowing. So I finished this and I messaged EJ and I said, "Hey EJ, I have 6 finishes," and she says, "Well, I have 7." So we decided that we are going to start our shadowing in October, and we're both kind of scared. I've never stitched a chatelaine. She's never stitched a chatelaine. We're both kind of scared because it's a big project. But we're going to do it. Vicky at Reading and Stitching is going to join us, and I've conned Margaret into joining us, and she might join us late, but I think Sarah's going to stitch along with us, and maybe some other people. But October 7th, if you want to start a shuttling, October 7th, or stitch on the one you have. That's fine. Maybe we'll get Anna to join us and stitch along with us. Anyway, so that was my finish. EJ and I set our date to do our shadowing. Um, my new start. Actually, let's do WIPs first, and then I'll do my new start. So, WIPs. These are not in any particular order. Ah, that's not the WIP that I thought it was. Let's go with a different WIP. Okay, so this is my retrievers. This is my oldest WIP. I pulled him out this month, and I did 300-ish stitches, 302 or 300 and something, right around 300, a little bit over 300. And there he is. I was looking at this last night. He looks like a dog. Look at him. And I don't know if y'all remember, but when I first started him, I'll show you a picture. When I first started him back in January, he looked kind of like a Chinese character. And all of those stitches have been worked into his face. There's no more Chinese character left. It's just all face now. So my goal for him this year is 5,000 stitches, and I think I'm only at 1,700. So I have a long way to go still. I need to get moving on him. I am at Retrievers. I'm at 1,702 stitches, so I need to get moving on him because this year is going by quick. It's going to be August already. So I also worked on this one here. This is Joy in the Journey by Leisure Arts. I'll show you a picture. Let's try that. There you go. There's Joy in the Journey by Leisure Arts. You can buy the mediocre PDF on the Leisure Arts website. And I also did 300 stitches on this. And I basically finished out all that brown on the house. That's basically what I did. So I'll get into the doors and the windows and the roof and the little rounded window up here at the top. So when EJ and I decided that we were going to start our shadowing in October, I decided that my goal was going to be to finish this before that. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Because, I'm not really that far into it, but there's also not that much to it. I have the rest of the house. There's a tree and a fence over here. There's some flowers and the beehive and the words and another band or two of decoration and the border. There's not a lot to it, but I still have a ways to go on it. So my goal is to finish this before October 7th. Stay tuned. Also, I worked out my categories for August, which we'll talk about that too. This does not fit in there. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. So this is my love this month. This is Under the Evergreen. I've put in about 360 stitches on him. I'm going to do a little more today. So he'll end the month somewhere at 400 and something stitches. Probably not a whole lot more than 400, but look at him. I did the teddy bear, and I put this wheel on the wagon the other night, and you can see I've started filling in the ornaments and a little bit of this candy cane here. I'm going to work some more on that today, filling in the rest of those ornaments and candy canes and gingerbread men. And I have some miscellaneous stitches here to do in the wagon still to finish filling in the wagon, but I love it. I feel like I kind of feel like I've been stuck on this for 2 years because I worked on it in 2020, and I was working on this, if y'all remember back, I was working on this, and I ended up having to frog it all, and then I redid it, and then I didn't really pick this up last year. I didn't work on this at all last year. So this year I've done all of this part of the tree here, and I've done the bear, and I've done some of the wagon. Um, so I feel like I'm finally moving forward on this, and I'm getting to the point where I could see myself finishing this next year. My goal for August is going to be to finish all the decorations. I'm going to work on that today. Finish this little miscellaneous part of the wagon and work on the border. And then my goal for September, I think I'm going to start tackling some of the backstitch because, because future Laurel will not appreciate it if I leave all the backstitch to last. So, and then I still have 3 more months. I'll still have October, November, December. So we'll see what happens. But I'm getting to the point where I could see myself finishing this next year. But I'm in love with this piece right now. All right. So I had a new start. Alma had a birthday at Alma's Little Wonders, and we agreed that we were going to start illuminated manuscript. And this is from, I think this is from September, October 1991 of Cross Stitch and Country Cross magazine. This is part 2. And I think part 1 is like in January, February, or March, April of 1990. They were like a year and a half apart when they were released. So this is the one we both started on July 15th. I finished my Stitch for Sweet Freedom right in the nick of time. And Alma talked about this in her video, but we struggle best on this one. Oh my gosh. So we struggle best. She was laughing at me. She was laughing at me because she started in the center, which is somewhere in here, somewhere in this grass right here is the center of the design, and that's where she started. I started in this corner up here where all the leaves are. And I thought, well, I'm going to start in the corner. Let me expand this so you can see what I'm talking about. I thought, well, I'll start in the corner and I'll do that leaf, and then there's some backstitch, and I'll just follow the backstitch over to here, where the corner of the border is. Well, I did the leaf, didn't have the color for the backstitch, and then so I was like, well, I'll just go to the next leaf. I didn't have that color, so I ended up gridding my way over to this this corner here. Didn't have that color because that's floss blended with blending filament, and I didn't have the blending filament. So then I gridded down to this orange part right here, and I was able to work that, and I was able to do some stuff and get down to this blue part. But it was very challenging because all of this and all of this is that floss and blending filament. It was getting, and I thought, oh well, I'll go into the center, and all of this leaves on the thing here and this outside border. That's all that blending filament too. And it was getting to be challenging to work around the blending filament. So this is where I got to on it. I did 213 stitches on it. And I did the orange and the blue. I was able to do the snake. I did this little leaf right here, which is going to have to be moved. But that's where I got to. I got the blending filament. My friend Vic was kind enough to send me a spool, and we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to pick this up probably tomorrow, and I'm going to start working on it again for categories. We'll talk about categories. So that was my new start. Oh, and then, so when we started it, I was just lacking colors. Like, I was having a hard time because I was lacking colors, and then I had to frog a little bit, and Alma had to frog, and it was a struggle bus. And then, so we were on Zoom with our friend Shannon. Shannon had also made a new start, and Shannon was just cruising along on hers. And Alma and I were on the struggle bus, and yeah, so I put up a GIF on our group chat that this is me and Alma, and we got like the struggle bus, and the front end is smoking, and the back end doesn't have a tire, and then there's Shannon just kind of cruising along. I just dropped my phone. Anyway, it was a struggle. But it'll be fine. I worked it out. I think Alma worked hers out, and I think we're good now. So that was what I stitched on this month. It was, yeah. So altogether, about, if I, I've done about 20, let me get my phone. I've done about 20, almost 2,800 stitches. Um, Let me get my phone. So if I did 200 stitches today, I would get to 3,000 for the month. I don't think I'm going to get there. But I'll be somewhere between 2,800 and 3,000 per month. So I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so that was my stitching. Plans. So the categories, Joy in the Journey does not fit. Let me look at the categories. Categories, full coverage. So I have two possibilities here. I have Under the Evergreen, which I'm all excited about right now. I also have my Hade Fairy that's in timeout, and I'm kind of trying to work on pulling her out of timeout. So I'm gonna, because I need to finish her, and I can't finish her if she's in timeout. So um, I'm gonna work with her a little bit and see if I can get moving on her, and if I can get moving on her, I'll use that and as my full coverage. If not, then I'll use Under the Evergreen as full coverage. New to you, that's going to be a new start, and we'll talk about that in haul actually. Newest start. I'm going to use illuminated manuscript for my newest start, and that's why I'm going to stitch on it tomorrow. I'm going to stitch on it first, and then I'm going to do my next new start. That's going to be the new to you category. Monochromatic. This may also be a new start. And so I have a couple things here. One, I've kind of been thinking about this piece. I've had this piece for a really long time. And I've been thinking about it on and off that I should stitch it. And um, and then one of my WIP Go squares is to do 5 smalls. And I've done 3. And so I'm kind of, I need 2 more. And I'm like, this would qualify as a small. And it happens, I didn't really plan it this way, but it happens conveniently enough that it's monochromatic. And this is the Quaker Horn book by Ellen Chester from With Thy Needle. And I think I'm going to do this one. This one is over 1, and this one is over 2. And I think I'm going to do this one because I'm insane like that. You have to do it on the right count fabric. This isn't one of those things where you can pick your own fabric size, because if you don't do it on the right count fabric, it's not going to fit. It comes with a little horn book, and if you don't do it on the right count fabric, it's not going to fit on the horn book. So this is 32 count. So 32 count is not something that I normally buy a lot of. So I had to do a little bit of digging, but I found something I think is going to work. So I think I might start this and use this for monochromatic. If I don't, then I will use Under the Evergreen as my alternate. But this is, look at this, you guys. If you've been in the stitching world for a while, there was a time back in the day before they were owned by Needleworkers Delight that Silk Weaver was its own company. And this is Silk Weaver that I got from way back in the day before Needleworkers Delight owned it. So this is Days Gone By, 32 count Days Gone By from Silk Weaver. And I think I'm going to use this. And I had bought some Leo and Roxy floss. I bought the black and white from Leo and Roxy to do Ruskin's Penguins with, but I also got a couple of skeins of blue. So I think that's what I'm going to use for the Quaker Horn book. So that may be a new start. And if I don't start it, then I'll use Under the Evergreen. That's fine. And then the last category is Oldest WIP, and that's my dogs. And they need some good attention because I still have 3,300 stitches I need to do on that. So I need to give them some good attention this month. Joy in the Journey does not fit, so I'm gonna have to work in time for Joy in the Journey too, because I'm trying to finish it. So yeah, that's the plan for August. I also need to catch up my temperature tree. My temperature tree is caught up until the end of May. I have the branch for June, but none of the leaves, and I've done a little bit on the branch for July, but so I need to get that caught up. And if I did that today, I could get my 200 stitches, but I'm kind of not feeling it. I kind of want to work on my tree, on my Under the Evergreen Christmas tree. So I think I'll probably take temperature tree to work tomorrow, and that'll be my work project tomorrow and Wednesday. So, haul. So, Juneteenth weekend, I think I told this story last month, I think. Juneteenth weekend, my friend Margaret was off work on that Friday, and she went to the attic. She lives in Phoenix. She went to the attic. And I was mad because she was going to the attic and I was stuck working. And she said, well, if you're here on July 22nd, I'll take you over there. And it kind of started out as a joke, but then we kind of started talking about it, looking at prices, and we were like, we could do this. And so we did. I went out there on that Thursday, on July 21st, And, I stayed for the weekend, and we went to the attic, and we went to Old Town Needleworks, and it was fantastic. We had a good time. I actually stayed an extra day. I was supposed to leave Saturday afternoon, and I stayed an extra day, and it was wonderful. We each had a hotel room, and the hotel was wonderful. You get breakfast with your room, and it wasn't like, oh, they have croissants and cereal, and you might have some bacon or something. No, they had a menu, and you could order like bacon and eggs, and they had a Starbucks, and you could get a latte, and it was fantastic. I had French toast and Belgian waffle. It was wonderful. So we had a good time. I really enjoyed spending time with Margaret, and um, we spent a lot of money. So, uh, and we also met up with another friend. We met up with Annette from Annette's Acre, who has not made a video in a while, but she does have a channel, and her Instagram is actually, I think her Instagram is Annette AZ 414, AZ Annette 414. Um, and we met up with Annette at the attic, and it was wonderful to see her. So, oh, oh, that's okay. Just give me a second. All right, so stash. So, um, this is all my stash. So I will show you what I got. But this was in my mailbox waiting for me when I got home from Arizona. This little stitching tray, you can put your scissors in it, you can put your orts in it, you can put your, when you separate your threads, you can put your remaining strands in it. You can, you know, just put all your little things in it. And I got this from Vic at Stitch and Button. It's got Mickey Mouse on it, polka dots on the inside. They're $10 from Stitch and Button. Um, and they also they they have they snap together, and then if you wanted to, she made it so that you could snap it this way, or you could snap it this way if you wanted to just tuck your orts in there, or tuck your stuff in there and pack it in your bag. Um, you can also just fold it in half rather than making the little tray. So that was waiting for me when I got home. I got these two things from Sammy at Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery. I got Fall Beach by Mill Hill. Comes with a little function button. And I got Home of the Brave by Hands On Design. Now, what I got in Arizona, Margaret and I are really bad at enabling each other. So there's a shop in Scottsdale called Old Town Needlework, and they have a lot of Southwest stuff because they're Arizona. So they had a bunch of these by Fireside Originals, a bunch of desert landscapes, and they had a couple of sunrises and a couple of sunsets, and I got one of the sunsets, and Margaret got one of the sunrises. So we're going to stitch these together next year. It comes with the Threadworks. There's 3 colors of Threadworks, and the lady at the shop told us that there's actually enough that when we were done we could swap the threads and stitch the other one too. Um, so we're gonna stitch that together at some point next year. This is my new start. This is gonna be last. Okay. So then I got, let's see what else is in here. I got this. This is from Claudia at Dutch Treat. And this is called Bristol Grace. And they have it in two colorways here. They have it in the red and the blue. And they also have two different motifs here in the corner. You can put this little motif in here, or you can put the Bible motif in. And I kind of like the Bible motif. I think I'm going to do that. So I got that. And I bought some tulip from Classic Colorworks Belsois to stitch that in. That's not very true. It's a lot brighter than that in real life. It's not quite that brown. It's it's a very pretty red. And because they had one, and because I like to tease Gable at Stitch and Button, I got Cupid because Cupid is like her favorite color. Okay. And then I saw these. They had models of these in the shop at the attic, and they're very pretty in real life. It's a designer that I've never heard of, Wendy KC Designs, and I googled her, and apparently she's distributed by Kelmscott Designs. If you go to Kelmscott's website, you can order them there. And so they're just like little monthly ornaments, and I like this one here. But they got June, July, August, and September. But I like the July one. So I got the thread for the July one, and I have a card of Petite Treasure braid for it too. And so maybe I'll do this as my 5th small. Who knows? And then this is something that's been making its way around the stitching community for a little bit. I've seen it in a couple of different places. People asking, where do I get this? Who's this by? Does anybody know about this? And they had it at the attic. And I kind of think that it's out of print or it's on the trickier side to find. I'm not really sure. But they had it, and so I got it. This is Moon and Spider Apple Cider by Needlework Press. And I got the threads for it. I'm dropping stuff all over the place today. But I got the threads for it. The fabric, I'm just dropping stuff all over the place. The fabric is Stitches and Spice. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to find a fabric for it. I don't know what I'm going to stitch it on. Okay. And then I got this. Last year, I went to 4 stitching shops. When I was in Arkansas, Vicki and I went to the Silver Needle, and we went to Cecilia's. And when I was in Utah, we went to Shepherd's Bush, and we went to Stitchery Express. None of those shops had this pattern. I had been looking for it. None of them had it. The attic had it. The Smith Sampler by Scarlet House. And I understand that I think Tanya actually lives in Phoenix. She's local there, and she frequents that shop a lot. So if you're there at the right time, you can get your chart signed. She wasn't there the day that we were there, but I got that finally. And then this one I saw. I got something else. This one I saw. They had the model of it, and I saw it, and they had one last chart. I think this was the last chart that they had. And I was like, yes, please. This is right up my alley. Y'all know I like Jewish designs. And so they had a Jewish band sampler. It's called Emmanuel by Carolina House Designs. And so I was like, let me take this out of the package. I was like, yes, please. No, maybe I won't take it out of the package. Oh, no, there we go. It's stitched all in silk in Avera Soie and Gloriana and needlepoint silk. So there it is. It's got the olive leaves, and it's got Hebrew, and it's got pomegranates, and it's got all kinds of stuff. I was like, yes, please. So, um, I got that. I started to try to kit it up, but they didn't have hardly any of it. So I don't know if I'm gonna do it in silk, if I'm gonna do it in DMC. I don't know. The Glorianas are kind of hard to come by at the moment, and they're expensive. So I don't know, but I got that. I was disappointed in both shops at their thread selection. I was looking for the blending filament for the manuscript, and I knew I was going to go to Arizona. I knew we were going to the shops. I'm like, oh, I'll just go get it. I'll just get it when I'm in Arizona. And neither one of them had it. Old Town Needlework had a lot of the 4 and 8 and 12 braid, but they didn't have very much of the blending filament, and they didn't have the ones that I needed. And the Attic, I don't think they carry Kranich or Rainbow Gallery, period. Their focus is on samplers, so they carry a lot of silks, and they carry a lot of things that are used in samplers. But I was kind of disappointed at the thread selection in both, because there were a lot of things I was looking for that they either didn't carry the line or they didn't have the color that I was looking for. And I know, like Weekest Dye Works and General Art are, some of them are back ordered, some of them are hard to come by right now, and I understand that that's not their fault. But in fact, the lady at the Attic told me that they had ordered like 100 colors from General Art, and they got like 20 of them. Like, yeah, but they're having a hard time getting them in. So that was the only thing that I didn't like. Was I expected the thread selection. I expected to be able to get whatever thread I wanted, and I couldn't. Which is how I ended up getting that spool from Gable of the blending filament. So when we were at the attic has this little corner of clearance stuff. It's all half off. It's stuff, I guess, that hasn't sold, and they're trying to get rid of it. So it's all on this table, and you can pick through it, and it's all half off. And I came across this. I had never seen this before, and under other circumstances, I might have passed by it. But I have a friend. This is the Tallman House 1864 sampler by Chessie and me. And I have under other circumstances I might have passed by it, but I have a friend whose last name is Tallman, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, he would really like this this patriotic section over here, the flag and the eagle, and there's a verse about liberty, and I was like, he would really like that. I wasn't sure how he was going to feel about the house, but I'm like, I got it. It was not very expensive. Um, so I got it, and I sent a picture of it to him, and he's like, "That's cool." And he's kind of been asking me to stitch something for him, and I always kind of shrug because I don't really want to stitch the thing that he wants. But this I would stitch for him. So I sent it to him, and I said, I can do the whole thing if you want, or I can just do the panel on the right if you want. And he looked at it for a while, and he's like, no, I like the whole thing. So I'm going to stitch that for him. And that's going to be my new start this month. It's by Chessie and me. And that's how it's going to fit into the new to you category, is this is my first time stitching a design by Chessie and me. They're new to me. Um, and so that's what I'm going to do. This picture is kind of deceiving because it looks like it's on like a gray or like on a, like on some sort of neutral tan or beige or something. But it's actually on Tin Roof by Weeks Dye Works, which apparently is like a gray, like a medium dark gray. Um, I pulled the DMC equivalents that are on 123 Stitch, and it's like this dark gray. So while I was there in Arizona, I bought, when I was at the attic, I bought what I could of the threads. There were some threads that I couldn't get. Actually, no, we went back to Old Town Needlework the next day, and so I got the threads, and I'm gonna put it on. This is Norcia Black Truffle from Fortnite Fabric. This was also part of the Mushroom series from 2020, and I think I'm gonna put it on this because it seems to be a reasonably good match for the gray that is the Tin Roof. So I got most of the thread for it, and that's going to be my new start this month. And I have it, of course, in a patriotic project bag because, well, you know. And I think that's it. We're at 41 minutes, 42 minutes. I think that's all I have. I'm still working half and half at home, half in the office. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So I will see you guys all next month. I hope you're having a wonderful stitching month and a great summer. And I will see you guys next time. Happy stitching!